Hello everyone. Today we'll be looking at the second semifinal. So yesterday I actually did manage to be on my Instagram and to do a live. So for those who didn't see it, I just wanted to show you those were my guesses, right? My estimates as to who's going to qualify, and I got almost all of them right. I know this one looks a bit messy, but this is just because I totally forgot that Finland was in the running. So then I was like, oh no, of course they're going to qualify instead of North Macedonia. Actually, from the very beginning, I didn't think that North Macedonia was going to make it. I did want her to, though, because I do like her. I do like the song. But then I was like, well, no, definitely. If I have to think about who other people are going to vote for, I definitely don't think that's going to be North Macedonia. And the one mistake that I made was putting Cyprus on the list. I know that wasn't her best vocal day, for sure. Although you could still, in some fragments, you could really hear the great agility that she has in her voice, changing the notes so fast. But it was very pitchy in many places. Azerbaijan, though, did perform really well, and I'm actually super happy with this because it did grow on me. Actually, even since I did the tier rating a video, and I put it in the meh category, but over time I liked it more and more. I have to say. Let's maybe go over the finalists, the qualifiers, one by one. So Belgium, I wasn't 100% sure if they were going to get in. I did put them on my list though, so I got that one right. I thought that the performance was really good, actually. A lot of people were commenting before that his vocals are not always great, but I don't know. On the show, I thought that he sang really well. I think the song overall is just so good. It has such good production. Probably the best one out of all the songs this year. It doesn't always translate when you're in a live performance because you don't hear the background music as well. There's of course some noise from the audience and so on, so you can't really appreciate all of the nuances there. But I think that overall the song was strong enough and people recognized it. So then the next one they announced was Czech Republic, and I was so super happy about it. Again, I read a lot of very negative comments from Eurovision fans online before the contest that her singing is not great. I think she did poorly in one of the pre-parties. I saw the recording from that concert, and yeah, it was terrible. But I think that there were some technical issues there. I don't think she heard herself correctly. Clearly, also, this was not the best vocal performance of the night, for sure. I don't think she's that great of a singer, but it was good enough, and the song itself is just so catchy, and I think it stands out from the rest. Okay, so the next one that was announced was Azerbaijan. So I already talked about Nadir. Okay, and the next one that was announced was Poland. Well, I put them at the top of my list because I was, and sure, you can say well, you're not objective, you're a Polish person. Yeah, you got me there. I mean, even before the show, I was sure that we're going to qualify this year, but I think that after this performance, I don't think that there could have possibly been any doubts left. I mean, I think, honestly, again, I might not be completely objective, but I think Christian gave the best vocal performance out of everybody so far. Can you please tell me which artist sung better than him? I don't think he just nailed it. He nailed it. Now, when it comes to the bad parts, I'm going to talk more about Poland. I'm sorry, but you know how it is. I just got a little bit more focused on my country. I think that as much as his, Christian's vocal performance was amazing, the staging was really not our shining moment, was it? I mean, Poland is generally not known for great staging, and this year was not an exception, unfortunately. So I thought that the shaky camera, the lightnings looked very kind of 20 years ago. Oh, and same with those like droplets on the screen. That looked ridiculous. The lights on the stage itself and the visuals, I think, looked nice. That was the part that I think worked. Now the dancers, I think the concept itself was cool, but the choreo was just not very interesting, I think. So the choreographer for this was Agustin Egurola, who's really known in Poland for doing TV shows, mostly. TV shows, pop concerts, that sort of thing. I really think that, the kind of choreo that you would see in the Israeli entry or in the Romanian entry is more like his jam. And yeah, he was just, I think, not the right choreographer for this particular entry. They should have taken someone who was more into like modern jazz, something a bit more contemporary, something a little bit more edgy. But overall, I'm still super, super happy with our performance, with our entry this year. We should be proud of ourselves in general, I think. Let's move on to the next qualifier that was announced, and that was Finland. So that was obvious, right? I mean, not obvious because the Erasmus is famous, but because it was a really good song, and the performance was really good, very energetic. I think that the staging looked cool. The next qualifier was Estonia. And this one I was not super sure about, but I did put them on the list, and I was very happy that he made it, Stefan. I think that the song really did stand out. I mean, it sounded totally different from all the rest. I didn't really necessarily see that when I was just listening to the songs. I didn't necessarily feel that, but then on the stage, you could really see like, wow, this chorus really pops. Whereas some songs have very underwhelming choruses, like Australia, for example. Okay, so the next qualifier is Australia. So like I said, I don't think that Australia had a very strong chorus. I was sure that he was going to qualify. They put him on the list just because his vocals are amazing. And I thought that, I did mention that in my Instagram live reaction, that it sounded totally different from his national selection. And I also really appreciate that. On the one hand, it's great to have like someone like Christian who's like able to just almost repeat the exact same performance, like have that great consistency. That's good. But on the other hand, it's very interesting to see artists like Sheldon who can make the song sound different every single time. So I loved it that he put a different spin on it. Also, I think that his diction improved. I definitely understood the lyrics better when he was singing them. So I think that also that made it more impactful because you could understand better what he was actually singing about. The next qualifier was, well, obviously Sweden. I'm not super excited about that one. I already talked about it. And it was surprising to me. I generally feel like the second semifinal was just vocally better than the first one. The first one was like, everyone was just so nervous. I don't think that there was a single, well, except for maybe Lithuania, a single performance that was spot on, maybe Switzerland. So I was really surprised because, again, I felt that Cornelia had great consistency. In all her live performances, she sounded really good. And even she struggled a little bit on the night, which just shows you, how difficult it is to perform at Eurovision. I mean, the nerves really get to you. She still pulled it off. At the very beginning, I felt like, I'm no expert, but it kind of sounded to me like she didn't have good breath support at the very beginning of her performance, but she pulled out of that nosedive, and I think that she finished off pretty strong. What I don't like about the Swedish entries is that I think every single year the staging at Eurovision is exactly the same as at Melodifestivalen. So, it's a little bit boring. I don't really get that like green background thingy. Why is it green? Like, I don't probably there is some significance to it, but I don't know exactly how to read that. And the red background as well, because it like changes red to like, maybe it's like go, stop. But how does that relate to the song? I'm not sure. Anyway, I would have liked something maybe a little bit more creative. Okay, the next qualifier was Romania, which I was super, super happy about because I love this song. The more I think about it, the more I feel like this is really the favorite this year for me. I don't think they're going to win, but I just love it. I just love it. It makes me happy when I hear this song. And I love Urs. I think that he is a really cool person. I saw some interviews with him. He's got great energy about him. So for me, he stole my heart this Eurovision. He definitely sang a lot kind of louder with much stronger vocals than what is in his studio version. I think that for the live performance though, these type of vocals worked better. In a live performance, you know, a lot of these like tiny little vocal nuances get lost. So I think that that was the right decision. Okay, so the last qualifier was Serbia. Till the very end, I was sort of like, you know, just because I know that the Eurovision fans really liked the song. There was quite a bit of hype and buzz around it. But I was thinking, like, is this going to translate on the stage and to a wider European audience? Are they going to get it? You know, it's in the national language. The performance is a little bit more theatrical. You know, she's sitting down on a chair, which I think also sabotaged her a little bit in the vocal department because, you know, just when you're sitting down, you're not able to kind of breathe in as much and you know, again, the breath support is just isn't there, and you could kind of hear that it wasn't sort of perfect. But again, I think it's just such a catchy song that it couldn't have possibly faded into the background. Yeah, I still put them obviously on my list, and I was very happy that they advanced to the grand final. That's great. Okay, so now about the songs that didn't qualify, right? Well, I did talk about Cyprus already, right? Let's talk about the other ones. So Israel, I felt very sorry for Mikhail. I thought that he did a really good job. It was a very entertaining, fun entry. I just think that the second semifinal, honestly, was way better than the first one, and the competition was just much stronger. I think that it might have popped more if he got a spot in the first semifinal, because first semifinal was just not as fun. It was a little lackluster. Or, you know, it could have been that it's just not the year for this type of song. Generally, my prediction is that a ballad is going to win this year. Just because I feel like the overall atmosphere in Europe is a little bit more somber because of the war in Ukraine, because of the economic crisis, because of the pandemic that we just recently got out of. I just think that, you know, ballads resonate with people a little bit more, which is why we have so many of them this year, right? Might have done really well in a different year, but just not in 2022, I'm afraid. So the next non-qualifier is Georgia, which is, I don't think, surprising to anyone. I really appreciate that they were trying to do something different, something a bit more original, but yeah, I guess just wasn't, unfortunately wasn't strong enough, a little bit too repetitive. Okay, Malta. I'm not surprised that Emma Muscat didn't qualify. She was definitely not one of my favorites, as you know. Again, I don't think people were in the mood for a song like this. I said that it was toxic positivity, the song. It kind of sounded like that, and I think that just people didn't buy it. San Marino, Achille Lauro. Okay, he did his best. He definitely gave us a good, energetic show. You know, his vocals were, of course, not the best, but you know what? I think that actually worked for the song because, you know, it's the kind of song that sort of called for this slightly more nonchalant rock and roll type of a vibe. I would have appreciated more stripping. I mean, I did like the fact that he had like a see-through jumpsuit, but I would have really liked if he at least took the gloves off. I think that would have been like a Rita Hayworth tribute moment. Ireland. Again, I'm pretty sorry for Brooke. I thought that was a strong performance and it's a fun song. Again, I think that this one might have qualified if it was just a different year or if she was in the first semifinal. It kind of reminded me a little bit of Zena, who represented Belarus in 2019, I think, and she qualified. This one reminded me a little bit of that. Very youthful, very fun, and like I said, before the pandemic, maybe she would have made it. North Macedonia, Andrea, I'm very sorry for her. I did think that she gave a good performance. Okay, Montenegro, I'm happy that it didn't qualify. She did sing really well though, but I just don't like the melody of that song. And there's something about it that just bothers me, but she did truly her best. Tell me about your favorites in the comments, and yeah, your reactions and your takes on the different entries and the staging. Thank you very much for joining me, and let's have a great grand final, right? So see you later.